Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about season 1 of Westworld, HBO's new phenomenon show. Everybody is talking about Westworld, and if you are not talking about Westworld, you need to watch Westworld. This show is created by Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, who is the brother of the famous film director Christopher Nolan. So if there's a Nolan brother involved, you know it's probably going to be amazing. So the show is based off and inspired by the 1973 science fiction film Westworld, which is written and directed by Michael Crichton, and you might have heard the name Michael Crichton before. He just wrote a little novel called Jurassic Park. Don't know if you've heard of it. I've actually seen the film Westworld and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the original concept of the film, which the show is based off of, and the show has elements of the film sequel Futureworld, which came out in 1976, which I haven't watched, unfortunately. So anyway, back to the TV show Westworld. This is season 1. There is 10 episodes in the season. They're each 60 minutes long, except from the finale, which is 90 minutes, which I watched this morning, and oh my goodness, I have so many feelings about it, but I'm going to talk spoiler-free first of all, and then I'll talk spoilers at the end, and we can talk about it in the comments as well. So Westworld revolves around the theme park Westworld, which is owned by the company Delos, which is actually a tribute to the company that owned Westworld in the original film. And people can go to Westworld and they can live out their fantasies. It's a Western themed theme park where the hosts, who are the people that are in the theme park, are actually androids, and people can pay to go to Westworld and live out their wildest fantasies, whether it's sexual fantasies, whether it's violent fantasies. The host cannot physically harm the guests, but the guests can harm the hosts. Now we follow several different characters in Westworld, but mainly we follow the character of Dolores, who is a host in Westworld. She's one of the oldest hosts in the park, and she's played by Evan Rachel Wood in this TV show. Now the story starts and Dolores starts to get kind of visions and kind of voices in her head telling her that Westworld isn't all that it seems. We also follow the character of Dr. Robert Ford, who is played by Anthony Hopkins in the TV show, and he is one of the creators of the park. He came up with the whole idea and he is the centre of everything in Westworld. And we also follow Jeffrey Wright's character Bernard, who is his assistant and is in behavioural control. We also follow several different other hosts in the park. Maeve, who is played by Thandie Newton, Teddy, who is played by James Marsden. There's a lot of characters to follow and a lot of plot lines to follow as well, which I think goes really well into Westworld, because in Westworld, when you go to the park, you can choose which narrative to follow, and it works really well considering there are multiple narratives to follow in the TV show. And within the first 15 minutes of the pilot of Westworld, I was already super impressed and intrigued. I just kept wanting to watch. This was so entrancing and it's just great television. Within the first 15 minutes of Westworld, you're already transported into a different world. You don't know where you are, you're a bit uncomfortable, and it just takes you along for the ride. There are so many different twists and turns in this TV show. You're never going to want to stop watching. It is such a binge-worthy show. The first couple of episodes in the season are really intriguing and set up for so much of the rest of the season. There are so many different plot lines to follow with Dolores and with Maeve, with Teddy, and with the mysterious man in black who has been to the park for the longest time. He always returns to the park and he has full control over whatever he does, and he has just free run of the park. There's a lot of mystery behind this character, who is played in the TV show by Ed Harris. I think something the show does very well is making you kind of hate the human characters, the characters you're supposed to identify with most. You really despise these characters, and these androids, the hosts, the robots, you feel for them. It seems that they have more humanity in them than the actual humans. And Westworld pays tribute to a lot of literature and stories of the past, and just a lot of Easter eggs are in the show of different works that tell us a lot about the humanity of the world. And the whole question of Westworld is, how human can these robots be? Do they have consciousness? Do they have memories? Do they have dreams? And all of these questions combined into one to tell us the difference between the androids and the humans. It's very thought-provoking and just engrossing to watch. You just don't want to stop watching the show. The first couple of episodes, as I said, are very intriguing. It starts to get a little bit slow in the middle. There are several different plot lines to follow, and I think they drag some of them out a bit too long. And then when you get to the end of the season, you're just taken right back into the story as you go along with these characters, and as things start to unfold, things just get extremely crazy and just anxious. I got anxious watching Westworld. I thought the characters of Dolores and Maeve, who are kind of the two main female characters in the show, who are two of the hosts in the park, they're just such great characters. There is so much like pain behind them, even though they are these robots, that you can just see the hurt that they feel. And I think Evan Rachel Wood, who plays Dolores, does a great job. Her character is just so layered and complex. It's just so great to watch her on screen. And Thandie Newton, who plays Maeve, is great too. She's just a badass. I think every character in the show has so much mystery behind them that it's hard to trust them, and I love that about characters. I love not knowing their little secrets, but I love watching their secrets unfold in the end. There are so many famous faces in Westworld. We have Thandie Newton, we have Anthony Hopkins, Jeffrey Wright is great in the show as Bernard. So many famous faces, and then up pops Tessa Thompson, who was my new favourite actress. She was great in her small little role of Charlotte Hale, who was one of the members of the board for Delos and for Westworld. The way that they incorporate the kind of narrative storytelling, behavioural aspects of the operations in the park, in the centre of the park where everything goes down, where everything's controlled, into the narrative stories of Westworld is just so well done. Everything filmmaking wise in the TV show, from the cinematography to the music to the acting to the writing, is just so A-star, highest standard. This is HBO TV. HBO take their stuff so seriously, and rightfully so. This is such great TV. This TV show may be better than half the films I've seen this year. It is very hard to talk about how much I loved Westworld and how great the show is without talking about spoilers, but all you need to know is just go into this knowing that it's a great show and you will be hooked into it, but you do not want to know any theories, any spoilers, just any tidbits. You just want to go in blind to have your mind blown by Westworld, just because the writing's fantastic, the narrative, storyline, acting, cinematography, music, it's all fantastic. I would give this show a definite epic win, and I cannot wait to rewatch it and have my mind blown at how things all piece together in the end. So that was the spoiler-free section of this video over. It's really hard to talk about Westworld without talking about spoilers, so if you've not watched the full first season of Westworld, I suggest you go do that. Then come back, watch this, we'll talk about it down below in the comments, because oh my goodness, this finale, just this whole show, my mind has been, it exploded. I had to put it back together with sellotape. My brain hurts. First of all, with the character of Dolores, from the beginning you could tell that there was just something off about her. She had so many secrets and so many little voices going on inside her head. I'm still trying to figure out the whole kind of Dolores Wyatt storyline, even though it was perfectly laid out in front of me in that jigsaw puzzle, which was the finale ending of this series. Evan Rachel Wood is so good at looking so devilish, but looking so gorgeous and harmless at the same time as Dolores. She's just fantastic. Not once did I trust her. She seemed so innocent, and I felt in a false sense of security watching Dolores, but she's secretly badass and just so cool as a character. Like, she's so well written and complex and layered. It's just crazy. Maybe the first twist was in the first episode, when you kind of go in and you realize that they're living each day the same over and over again with the hosts. The hosts die, they live, they die, they live, but everything is going on in their heads as if it's the same. They have one job, and that's to do their narrative. And it's just so weird to watch how each day plays out so differently and how it can all change within one narrative. Just the way the show tricks you into a false sense of security when you're watching, I don't know, Dolores and the Man in Black, and then suddenly in the first episode it zooms out and you're watching these people control the hosts, and you're like, what? If you didn't know anything about Westworld before you went to go into Westworld, your mind would be exploding. You'd be thinking, there is too many twists in this first episode and I cannot handle it. Considering I've watched the film, I know a lot of the background of the film and the narrative and what goes on, and there are a lot of similarities between the film and the TV show, so I knew a lot of it going into it, but still, the show shocked me. I thought I was going to know everything right off the bat. I didn't. Me being stubborn me, I was desperate to look up Westworld theories, and of course I came across the one of William being the Man in Black. Yeah, I could have probably seen that a mile away, but me reading that spoiler really didn't help. I think that was a pretty big reveal in the finale, and if you hadn't been spoiled about it like I had, you would have been pretty amazed. How they do the two timelines is just so confusing, because in the current timeline, Dolores isn't there, and you think she's not there because she's with William, but then she is there and she's not there, and it's very confusing. And with Bernard, we have him 1, being a host, we have him 2, really being Arnold. Like, what the fuck? I was in denial over that episode, I really was. This show has just screwed up my brain. And then the finale just ruined my brain. It really did. Twist after twist after twist after twist. Them going to the beach where the ocean meets the mountains, and that just being a whole part of Ford's plan, and then Ford getting Dolores to shoot him, and then all of the extra hosts coming out at the end. That's going to be mass warfare. And the teaser for kind of Samurai World was really, really cool. I can't wait to see what they do with that. And in Westworld, the film, Delos as a company has several different worlds. It has Westworld, Medieval World, and Roman World. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if they have different parks with the different themes in it. And just all of the little Easter eggs towards, like, Shakespeare, these violent delights have violent ends. The Alice in Wonderland references, the references back to the original film with the Man in Black, with Roman World. It's just so freaking cool. And Maeve's storyline was incredibly, incredibly heartbreaking with her daughter and how she was remembering. And that very last scene in episode 10 when she's like questioning whether or not she should actually leave the park or she should go back for her daughter was just incredibly heartbreaking to watch, because Maeve's had to go through so much through this season. But I think her storyline was so, so good. How she was kind of taking control of herself, and then the last episode, how Bernard was like, actually, no, we've programmed you to think that you're doing this for yourself. I don't trust anyone in this show. I do have a few gripes with the show, especially with the middle. I did feel like they were dragging out some of the storylines along a bit too much, especially the one with the maze. It was just the maze. The maze. They were having to go from one place to the other to find the freaking maze. And the Man in Black was obviously like, we need to find Wyatt to find the middle of the maze. Wyatt is Dolores. Boom. And just with different characters, especially the human characters, I really liked Elsie's character in the beginning of the show. I thought she had so much more potential as a character, and obviously Bernard killed her off when she knew his secret. And with Luke Hemsworth's character, who I can't remember the name of. That's a problem. But yeah, I really, really liked Elsie, and I'm so sad that she got killed off by Bernard, and Teresa as well. I thought she was a great character. Just all of the human characters, they don't survive. They're not going to survive this massacre. Let's be real. The end of season, there is going to be so much blood now the host can kill humans. It is going to just be crazy. I honestly can't wait to go back to episode 1 and rewatch it all, and to find the little clues of Bernard being Arnold, of Dolores being Wyatt, of just the whole conspiracy of Westworld. I can't wait to go back and it fix in my brain altogether. Like, I'm a massive fan of huge plot twists in films, in like sci-fi films, in thriller films, mind-blowing things. So Westworld is just purely my cup of tea. I loved it. Every single episode there was just something that kind of just made my brain explode and made me have extreme anxiety about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is just my biggest fear. Like, why would you do that? Have you not seen Ex Machina? Have you not seen Westworld? It's not gonna work. But anyway, that was a lot of ramblings, but Westworld is so hard to talk about in a very constructive and smart way when it's just so mind-blowing to freaking watch. Westworld was just so fucking good. Yep, they say the word a lot in the show, so I'm gonna say it now. It was so, so good, and I cannot wait to see what they do with season 2. I don't know where they're gonna go from here. It can... mind-exploding things. My mind is exploding just thinking about it. I just freaking loved Westworld, guys. If you haven't seen it, seriously, just go watch Westworld. It's probably one of the best things to come out this year, films included. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching my review of Westworld and listening to my spoiler, conspiracy theory, just ramblings about Westworld. Freaking loved this show. If you are going to talk spoilers in the comments, please give fair warning. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more TV reviews and movie reviews for you guys very, very soon. All my social media links are down below in the description if you want to come follow me. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye.